We have sent humans to the moon 12 times. We have kept astronauts living continuously in space for over 2 decades. And yet, fewer people have ever reached the deepest point of our own ocean than have walked on another world. We have better maps of the surface of Mars than we do of the floor of our own planet. So, here's the uncomfortable question. Is the deep ocean actually more mysterious, more dangerous, and more unexplored than space itself? Welcome back to the Abyss Report. Today, we're putting the final frontier up against the deepest one.
Start with the maps. Space agencies have photographed the surface of the moon in centimeter-level detail. Mars has been mapped so precisely that rovers can navigate individual boulders from millions of miles away. Our own ocean floor? Roughly 80% of it has never been mapped in detail at all. We know the surface of a planet tens of millions of miles away, better than we know the floor of the ocean beneath our own boats. It's not that the ocean is impossible to study, it's that space exploration has captured the world's imagination and its funding in a way the deep ocean simply never has. The final frontier might not be up, it might be down.
Here's where it gets strange. Space and the deep ocean are opposite extremes that kill you the exact same way, instantly and without warning. In space, there's a vacuum, zero pressure, unprotected exposure, and your body's gases begin expanding almost immediately. In the deep ocean, it's the reverse. Pressure over 1,000 times what you feel at sea level, capable of crushing solid steel. Both environments require pressurized suits or vessels engineered to fight against a force trying to kill you from every direction. The difference is, we've built spacesuits capable of 6-hour spacewalks. We have almost no equipment that lets a human being function freely at the bottom of the ocean at all. Both places are dark. Both places are cold. In deep space, temperatures can drop close to absolute zero, hundreds of degrees below anything on Earth. In the deep ocean, temperatures hover just above freezing, kept from actually freezing solid by the crushing pressure and salt content of the water. Sunlight cannot reach either place. Astronauts describe the blackness of deep space as absolute. Submersible pilots describe the blackness of the deep ocean the exact same way. The two most hostile environments accessible to humans are separated not by how extreme they are, but by which direction you travel to reach them. But here's the part that should really change how you think about this. We have spent decades searching space for any sign of life anywhere and found none. Meanwhile, in our own deep ocean, we've already found ecosystems that shouldn't be possible by the same rules we use to search for aliens. Around hydrothermal vents, thousands of feet down, entire food chains exist with no sunlight at all, powered instead by chemical energy seeping from the Earth's crust. Giant tube worms, blind shrimp, bacteria that eat sulfur instead of oxygen. Scientists studying these ecosystems aren't just studying Earth anymore. They're using them as the closest working model we have for what life might look like on Europa or Enceladus, icy moons with oceans hidden beneath their frozen surfaces. In other words, the closest thing we have ever found to alien life isn't up there. It's already down here, and it has been the entire time. Depending on how you measure it, scientists estimate that somewhere between 80 and 95% of the ocean remains in any real detail. We talk about space as the final frontier because it's vast and mostly unknown. But the ocean covers more than 70% of our own planet, and most of it remains just as unknown. That's not a rounding error. We haven't run out of unexplored territory on Earth. We've just been looking in the wrong direction.
Consider the resources. Landing humans on the moon required one of the largest scientific and engineering efforts in human history, and it worked. Space agencies today operate multiple active missions, exploring Mars, monitoring the moon, and planning missions to the outer solar system. The deep ocean, by comparison, has only ever been visited by a handful of crewed missions in all of human history. The Trieste reached the Challenger Deep once in 1960. It would be over 50 years before a human returned. Compare that to the International Space Station, which has had a continuous human presence for more than 2 decades without a single gap. We've chosen again and again to fund the climb upward far more than the descent downward. Not because the ocean is less important, not because it's less scientifically valuable, simply because looking up has always captured our imagination more than looking down.
So which one is actually scarier? Space kills you with nothing, an absolute absence, a vacuum with nowhere to hide. The deep ocean kills you with everything, an overwhelming, crushing presence bearing down from every direction at once. Space is silence. The deep ocean is pressure you can almost feel through the walls of a submersible. Both are alien. Both are nearly untouched by human hands. But only one of them is directly beneath the boats we sail every single day, closer to every person on this planet than the nearest space launch site will ever be.
The deep ocean isn't the little sibling of space exploration. In almost every measurable way, how little we've mapped, how dangerous it is, how alien the life inside it already is. It might be the more mysterious frontier of the two. We just haven't been looking. Which do you think is scarier, the deep ocean or deep space? Tell us in the comments. Subscribe to the Abyss Report. Next week, we go back down. See you in the deep.